Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. When I talk about, and I'm just going to tell you, I don't know where this video is going to go. For those of you that don't stick around until the end, you will probably miss the message, because I start out talking about something and then source will drop in and give me a whole nother direction, or something profound will come through. So my advice is stay till the end because again, I start out talking about something, and most of the time my videos shift in there somewhere. It's usually something pretty relevant. However, it gets much better as I go on. Now, today, when I talk about not getting caught up in the drama, not getting caught up in the negativity, anything that's going on, gossip, all that kind of stuff, and just let it go. And I need you to understand that doesn't mean sit back and do nothing. That doesn't mean just roll over and play dead. You have a voice. You have power within you. And the thing is, the difference is when you see something you don't agree with and you get caught up in it and you get angry and you continue down that hole, continue down that path of beating that wall, screaming and yelling, and you're frustrated and all of that kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying. Let it go. If you see something you don't agree with, yes, speak your truth, just like I do here. I tell you about the corruption. I tell you about as I learn things, I share it with you. But it's from an information place. It's not, yes, if I have something to say about, like the Epstein files, the client list, speak your piece, but from a place of matter of fact. I don't agree with this because of this. But don't get angry. Anytime my husband has told me, because I yell, I get loud. But he's told me, he's like, when you start screaming, you've lost the war. Because if you think about it, when you're in an argument with somebody, when you start arguing with them and you get louder, usually they're shutting you down, or they're not even hearing what you're saying because they're in a defensive mode and they're coming back at you, usually also yelling. But when you have a calm conversation, you can get more accomplished. So it's like, if something happens that you don't agree with, whether it's in your personal life, it's in government, it's in education, it's in whatever, state your objective, state your side, stay true to your side, as long as it comes from a place of love and not ego. But let the outcome go. Don't get wrapped up in the fact that it's got to be this way. It's got to be settled this way. Especially when there's more pieces that you don't even know about. Like the client list. We don't have all the details. Yeah, we know he was a pedophile. Yeah, we know he was corrupt. Everybody knows that. Or you're freaking asleep. But there's moving pieces that we don't know about. So for us to push for a specific outcome, the specific outcome you should push for is world peace. State your position, yes, from a place of love. I don't agree with this because of X. But don't get caught. Don't let the emotion go from love and understanding and disagreement to anger and gossip and revenge and all of those kinds of things, or destruction. You know, we see too much of that going on the other side of the equation. So it's just, again, you can have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. That's what you're here for. You can state your opinion. You know, if you can write a letter to a government official, if it's on a government level, heck yeah, go for it. If you can call them, sure. But state your case from a place of calmness and concern, or, you know, this is why I don't agree with it. Don't call them with your ass on your shoulders and give them attitude. And that's where we go wrong, is when we get our ass on our shoulders and we come up with attitude. Because that's where the low frequency comes from. That's where the low vibration comes from. Look at it this way, okay? Your rear end is where it is for a reason. When you bring it up to your shoulders, it is sitting on your shoulders, pushing you down. It is lowering your vibration. It is lowering your frequency. So leave your rear end where it is. Stay grounded. And come state your facts. State your side of the story. And then let it go. Let it go. Because, again, sometimes you don't have all the pieces to the puzzle. You know, it's like my husband said yesterday. He went to help a friend who's having a hard time. He was gone for a while. And he got home, and he said his phone wasn't working right. So we left and we went to the phone store and got they supposedly fixed his phone. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that story because that's a long story. But he said, I started to stop on my way home, but if I had done that and then gotten home with a working phone and you said, well, why didn't you call me to let me know you're on your way home? Because typically he lets me know he's on his way home. He got here and I didn't know he was on his way. Not that it's an issue. It's just, I didn't know he was on his way home. He said, if I'd like walked in the door with a working phone and told you that, you would have been upset. But I came home without a working phone, so you knew that my phone wasn't working. That's why I didn't tell you I was on my way. If I had gotten pissed and went off because he didn't let me know he was on his way, I don't have all the pieces to the puzzle. I don't have all the information. I didn't know that his phone wasn't working. This is just a small example, but it is a perfect example of how we go off. I know I do. And you don't even have all the pieces to the puzzle. You don't have all the information. So, on the bigger scale, I'm telling you, you don't have all the pieces to the equation. So state your opinion, state your thoughts from a place of love, then let it go. Don't start screaming and yelling at anybody. Don't go, again, like I said yesterday, don't go hang out with your friends, your neighbors, your whoever, and start gossiping and perpetuating anger. There's a fine line. Jesus always stated his case. He didn't come from anger. He rarely agreed with anybody because he was here to teach you how to live. Everybody was giving their power away. Everybody was living in victimhood or ego or corruption or whatever. So he rarely agreed with anything that was going on. All of his teachings are to teach you. Everything he said was to teach you how to step into your power, come from a place of love and trust and faith. He didn't get in anybody's face and start screaming and yelling. He didn't start gossiping with all of his disciples about whatever was going on. He stated his position from a place of love. Sometimes all it takes is a different viewpoint that you only know what you know. You can come at me and tell me whatever, but I might have, or you might have, information that I don't know yet. Be open to what the other person says. It's just like, again, like with my husband, we both understand construction. He knows more about it than I do, but there are some times where we're working on a project and I say, well, but what if we do it this way? And it's something he didn't even think of, because you're geared to think the way you think. And sometimes we do it my way, sometimes we do it his way. But we're both open to the best way, whatever is going to accomplish it the most efficiently, the smartest, the best way all the way around. So be that way with everything. Because you might have a bachelor's degree, a PhD, a whatever on a topic. But that doesn't give you all the information on that topic. Sometimes life skills give you an experience that is not in a book. And that's where I've always said, I'll take somebody with common sense over somebody with book sense every day. Because if you got common sense, you can figure shit out. If you just have book sense and you have no common sense, life is going to be rough for you. Because if it's not a black and white, you don't see the gray. Anyway, everything in life is not black and white. There's a lot of gray. And even with everything that's going on in the governments, in the financial system, in the everything, there's a lot of gray that you don't even see. So again, you can have your opinion, you can state your objective, but then let it go. Don't stay wallowing in it. So I hope this helps you. I hope that clarified, because I don't want you to think I'm saying just see whatever's going on and let it go. Like, don't do anything about it. Because that's why we're in this position in the first place. Is because people just caved and didn't say anything, didn't do anything, didn't stand in their power. They've been told to give up their power. They've been threatened to give up their power. Stand in your power. Stand in your truth. Again, as long as you're not coming from ego and you come from a place of love, it's just like back in 2020 when all that nonsense was going on. Did I agree with it? F no. I knew there was more to it. I could see the writing on the wall. I tried to tell people. They wouldn't listen. I didn't get angry about it, but I stood in my power. I stood in my truth. I didn't, I told all the people that worked under me, I said, I will stand behind you all day long. Even if HR says you have to do this, I'm not going to tell you you have to go get this stupid thing because I don't agree with it. You have a right. I will quit right alongside you. And I told my boss, I said, don't come at me and tell me I have to go get this thing because I'm going to tell you, no, I'm not. And I told him, I said, I am not going to tell all my employees that they have to do this. They don't have to do anything. They have a choice. So, but I didn't get angry. I didn't yell at him. I didn't scream at him. I didn't go off. I just stood firm in my belief, in my power. And therefore, I never got either thing. I never got the thing they told you had to get. I didn't wear the mask. I didn't get COVID because I stayed in a high vibrational state. I stayed in a place of love and a knowing that God gave me an immune system for a reason and I plan to use it. And if I was meant to get that thing, I was going to get that thing. I never got it. Other people, everybody I know was getting wigged out, was getting angry, was getting frustrated, was getting panicked. They bought into the fear. I couldn't even spend Thanksgiving or Christmas with my family because every one of them, except for my daughter, I spent it with my daughter because thank God she's got a lick of sense. My whole family, every one of them went and followed the agenda, bought into you can't get together with your family at Christmas or Thanksgiving. And I was like, what? How dare you tell me who I can hang out with and who I can't? So I spent both holidays with my daughter and my granddaughter. And my husband. Well, no, I didn't have my husband at that point. I mean, stand in your power from a place of love and conviction from, as you see, your Christ consciousness. That's what Jesus did. That's what we're supposed to do. Not from ego. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. Click the like button, subscribe to my channel. I hope this helps you. I hope this clarifies, when I say let it go. That's what I mean. So anyway, have an amazing day. Things are shifting in a positive way. Speak your peace from love. Stay in your power from a place of love. And be the divine Christ consciousness person, being that you are. And be the light. Be the bright in somebody else's day. Not the dim doom and gloom, wet blanket, the angry whatever. Don't be that person. I used to be that person. None of us liked that person. I wasn't liked then. And you know what? I get it. I'm okay with that. I wouldn't have liked me. I didn't like me either. So I send you love. I send you so much gratitude for being here. Have an amazing day, and we will talk soon.